My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gallop Out. I am your host, Ryan Anderson. I am waiting for my co-host, Jackson Muniz, to join. He will be here momentarily, but we are going to be going through the late pick 4 this Saturday at Tampa Bay Downs. It's good to be back with each and every one of you while we wait for my excellent co-host Jackson to join us. Make sure you know by now we're on In the Money. Be sure to head on over there, check out all of their amazing content, all their amazing podcasts, especially as we ramp up towards the Kentucky Derby. InTheMoneyPodcast.com is where you can find all of their content. Audio also available anywhere that you get your podcast, the good sites, the bad sites, all the ones in between. InTheMoneyPodcast.com. Check it out for the rest of it. I'll leave that banner up. As Jackson, once again, will be here in just a second. But the late pick 4 at Tampa Bay Downs is interesting. We got a maiden race, 2 grade 3 turf stakes to go through, and then a nice optional claiming event for some horses going 7 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to go ahead and get things rolling, I guess, in just a second. Jackson is on the phone as he texted me, so we'll be sure to give him a hard time. But I'll throw the past performances up, and we're just going to go through race number 6. You can see the picks for myself and for Jackson up on the screen. Race number 6, we're going 6.5 furlongs, 3-year-olds, maiden special weight. We're going top 2, and then we will present our pick 4 tickets at the end. Both of us, spoiler alert, pretty skinny pick 4 tickets, as this does look to be a rather chalky sequence. I think we did our best to kind of find some prices there in between, but you know, every sequence is kind of unique. This one happened to maybe lean a little bit more towards the chalky side, but we do have really full fields, so there is a lot to get into. Rail Horse is a first-time starter, current yield, trained by Chad Brown, ridden by Sammy Camacho for Clarovich Stables. You can see Jackson went 1-6. I went 10-1. I don't know that this is going to be the strongest maiden field, but I do know that drawing the rail in these maiden events, especially for these first-time starters, especially sometimes for the 3-year-olds, it can be a little bit difficult. So I'm going to have to try and immediately play against. I do like the number 10, Princess Fakoma. I do want to watch the replay. She's going to be the 7 in this event. Let me mute the audio, and we'll watch this one real quick as they go through, and you can pay attention to her. She's going to be 7 as they go around.
.74 seconds, they lead it by a length. Chasing is Osplexity. Princess Fakoma out 4 deep from 3rd. In and amongst horses, May Gray is looking for a seam, heading down to the 3 path. Meanwhile, Inspire Courage going to hold that rail position. Chit Chat starting to meander through horses, is up to about 6 now and about 4 behind. Adios Tootsie still leads him around at the top of the stretch. Princess Fakoma, the first challenge up on the outside. May Gray's down toward the fence. Adios Tootsie with something left.
All right, that's the end of the replay. You can see Princess Fakoma was just wide throughout the entire duration of that trip. Jackson, it's nice of you to join us. I started the show because you're always a 1 minute after go time kind of guy to join the show. So I figured, hey, by the time the intro is done, there's no way Jackson's not going to be here. But as it turns out, phone calls or whatever it is. But welcome to the show.
My bad. I didn't realize we were going live for this, but yeah, good.
What have we not gone live for a show?
I don't know. Good to see you as always, and Yeah, Tampa on Saturday after all the big cancellations, and obviously a little disappointed we're not going to be at Oakland, but there's some really good racing this weekend still. So, you like the 10 horse in this race? I missed what you said.
Yeah, you and I had to cancel our trip out to Oakland because that place is frozen. But yeah, Tampa, no worries of that. You have Tampa, Gulfstream, Santa Anita this weekend. Should be some good racing. I think Fairgrounds too. As far as I know, so 4 good tracks to rotate that handle around. Make sure you focus out on Santa Anita and play this Tampa sequence because we're going through it, and we spent the time to handicap it. But yeah, I like Princess Vekoma. Jackson, you know how I feel about the Vekoma horses. I love them first out. I love them second out. Obviously, this one a little cheap on the purchase price is Vekoma. Actually, I think this one was standing for. Or this one was purchased before Vekoma went up to $100,000. So that's the 2026 stud fee. But either way, I like what she showed on debut. She ended up being placed second through a disqualification there, being kind of interfered with. But I think she can certainly take a step up. I don't know that there's a whole lot of strength in this group necessarily. I know you took the one in first. I have the one in second. I just thought maybe the rail was a reason to try and beat this filly, but I don't know that there's a whole lot in here.
Just a quick question. Something you said about the 10, because you said you like Vekoma's first time out. You said you like him second time out. Do you like Vekoma's going 2 turns, or how do you feel?
I don't love him going 2 turns.
No, not a fan.
2 turns. I don't know. And that's lowest stat line on dirt is 18% going dirt routes. So
it's still way above average.
It's still way above average.
You gotta get away from these agendas, man.
Hey, look, I mean, it's right more times than it's wrong. Okay. Yeah. Some would say 82% of the time I'm right that a Vekoma doesn't go 2 turns and win. So,
yeah. Anyway, the 10, I understood the 10. She was a little wide last time. It just felt like that race, nobody moved at all. It was a complete merry-go-round. There was just 1, 2, 3 around the track. And she, I mean, like you said, she is supposed to take a step forward since that first start. So maybe that does get her into the mix.
Maybe it does, but go ahead and speak on the number 1 current yield, the horse you and I both used on our tickets.
To be honest, I know nothing about this filly. I couldn't watch any tape. Nothing. I did find a stat on Chad Brown, though. Chad Brown, first-time starters at Tampa Bay Downs, last 5 years. On the dirt, he's 11 for 19. That's a 58% win percentage. And I believe the ROI is well over $3, too, which is pretty rare from Chad Brown, who always takes a lot of money. So this is just a move he's very, very good at. This horse costs $400,000. They get the go-to rider. I gotta imagine this horse is live. Even with the rail, this horse has to be able to run a little bit.
I would think so. Yeah, the rail's obviously going to be tough, but you brought up that really strong Chad Brown stat. But something makes me think that this horse is going to be 4 or 5 in this spot. I think 3 to 1's maybe dreaming. Maybe she runs to those odds, but I might try and take a tiny stab against her. We'll see. Move on to race number 7. Oh, wait, actually, just kidding. You got to talk about the number 6. So let me not move too quickly.
Yeah, sure. The 6 is Sorokin, first-time starter for the Safi Joseph barn. This is a horse I was able to watch on tape in the morning. She's been working over at Palm Meadows. And I didn't see the most recent bullet one, but the 1-2 back, she went in company with a filly named, I believe it was Taliesin, is how you say it. An older filly for Safi Joseph that just recently ran 3rd against a decent allowance group at Gulfstream Park. So she's been going in company with a good older filly, and she actually outworked that horse pretty easily. It wasn't exactly a fast time, but she looked good doing it. And it does seem like she'll be a much better price than the horse drawn on the rail.
I would hope so. I don't love the Safi first-time starters. Katie Davis is in town to ride. I typically prefer Safi second time out, but I don't hate the pick. If this one's taking money, probably going to be live. Going on to race number 7 now. Recapping race 6. I'm going 10-1. Jackson's going 1-6. Race 7 picks are up. I'm going 6-3. You're going 3-6. So we see it as a 2-horse race. We'll start with you, Jackson. Quattro Cento, as this is the Grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes. We're going a mile and a 16th over the grass. Go ahead, number 3, Quattro Cento.
Yeah, I like this horse quite a bit in this spot. And I just feel like his recent form is a little dirtied up because he's been going up against Wolfie's Dynagos his last 2 starts. Wolfie's Dynagos has gotten really, really good as of late.
As most 7-year-olds do, yeah.
As most 7-year-olds do this time of year, apparently. And look, he's been chasing that one around, and that's not his game. He doesn't want to be pressing a fast pace. He wants to be in front, controlling the tempo. And I think the last couple of races, it just hasn't quite gone his way, and that's why we've seen him run so poorly. And that's not new for him. He's, when he hasn't made the lead as of late, he just hasn't really run that well. Even the race 3 back in the Keeneland Mile, when he did make the front end, that was a really fast pace against a good field, and he just hit a wall a little too late. And you and I have a couple mutual friends that are much better at this stuff than we are, that believe the inside path on opening weekend at Keeneland was just not the place to be. And of course, with him being in front, he was on that inside path the entire time. So, and he still ran a really fast number that day. So as I'm looking through the rest of this field, I feel like he's really supposed to control this tempo up front, and they're going to have to come catch him. And I think his form lately is probably a little bit better than it might suggest.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but he's going to have to get back to that prior form. And I mean, I'm with you. If he runs back to that turf mile, I think everybody's clearly running for second, because that was a very strong field. I kind of pulled up the race chart there. All the horses that finish in front of him would be close to even money or odds on in a spot like this. So that's reasonable. I'm going to take a bit of a stab with Win for the Money. I think this is going to be the horse that's just kind of sitting in second that entire way around. Obviously is going to get a jump on the on all of the other closers in there, but I'm hoping, if Quattrocento maybe doesn't fire his best shot, I think these two are going to be vying for favoritism throughout. They're probably going to be, 7-5, 8-5 come post time, somewhere in that realm, in my opinion. So I'll take Win for the Money. I think some bigger upside going second off the bench here for Mark Cassie, who ships in looking for a stakes win with this gelding.
Yeah, I was with you. I kind of saw this as a 2-horse race. He had a little bit of trouble last time at Gulfstream. I felt like he probably still should have won that, but it is what it is. Why did you leave the 7 off? Because we're both against the 7, obviously, but what were the reasons for you being against this horse?
For me, this is a very clear third choice horse. Okay. I mean, it's like I think this horse is clearly like third best if you look through the form lines, and the run style definitely fits in a situation like this. I just don't know that the pace is going to be hot enough. I respect this horse, but again, I think just a cut below Quattrocento and Win for the Money. How about you?
Yeah, same. And I wonder if he takes a little bit more money than he should, because he beat Tescore last time, and then Tescore came back and won the Pegasus. I'm with you. I think he's just a little too slow on paper. We thought the same thing about Tescore last week, though, and we saw how that went. So sometimes these 3-year-olds that just really improve as they turn the calendar over to their 4-year-old campaign. So I'm against, but he can win.
Yeah, he's improved in almost every start of his career, so certainly could take another step forward. And then you mentioned Tescore coming back to beat the field on Pegasus weekend in the Pegasus World Cup, or World Cup turf, I should say. So anything is possible. I think there's also a possibility that the buyer speed figures from the Hollywood Derby maybe came back a little bit light. It's always possible. But yeah, looking through that field, only a couple have come back to run out of there. But Tescore, obviously, the biggest improvement. But you do have a next out winner in Coco-san as well. All right. I mean, yeah, again, we'll talk actually, I guess, a little briefly. There are tournaments coming up this weekend if you play over on Twin Spires, and some big ones, I believe, taking place at Tampa Bay Downs. Would this be a contest race where you're trying to pick one over the other, or is this a good place to kind of lock up if you have 2 entries going through?
I know for me, I'm playing in the Twin Spires contest on Saturday, and my entire bankroll is going to be all in on the 3-horse to win this race. So I haven't decided if it's going to be just a win or if I can get really cute with playing exacta with the 6 and second. But this is a spot I'm really going to concentrate on. You
could get even cuter and go a 3-6-7 trifecta and just play that cold. 3-6-7. Oh, there we go. All right. And we're just going to go ahead and keep things moving into race number 8 now. Recapping race 7, I'm going 6-3. Jackson's going 3-6. Picks are up for race 8. I'm going with the 3-10. Jackson's going 6-9. So we're a little bit different in the third leg of this late pick 4. Jackson, we'll start with you once again. We'll go to the 6, Doroteo, 20-1. Gotta love the stab to try and take a price, spice things up in this late sequence.
Yeah, well, I want to start with the favorite, if you don't mind, because this horse is going to be what is Disruptor going to be in this spot? He's 6-5 on the morning line. He could go significantly lower than that. It won't be surprised.
I think 3-5.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he ran on, was it Pegasus Day when he debuted, and he was just the buzz of the town. I mean, everyone was talking about this horse so much so that he was bet down to 1-2
the next Secretariat, I think, going into that race. But
he was the next Flightline, Secretariat, and Man of War all into one. I mean, just all the buzz in the world. And then he got beat, and it was kind of like, okay, well, was it just the hype train? What kind of happened there? Then he came back and he won really impressively, and that was kind of the version of him that we were all expecting. They kind of threw him to the wolves after that. In the Flutter Derby, he didn't really run at all, and then he hasn't been seen since. He is working really well. watched his most recent, I think it was most recent work with Skateaway. Skateaway is a horse that won at a maiden special weight at the championship meet last year at Gulfstream, then came back and won at Keeneland, an allowance race there. So Skateaway is a nice horse. This horse crushed him in the morning. I think he's coming back really, really well. And I mean, if he runs back to that debut or the maiden victory, he's supposed to win. And this field is running for second. It's just a matter of whether you trust him to do that or not.
For sure. There's a few red flags here. One, why Tampa? And why in this spot? This is a very light spot to come back for a horse that they, thought so highly of. And second, it looks like he missed about 20 days or so on the work, or missed a work on the work tab, looking between the gap of December 21st to January 10th. I know South Florida doesn't typically have any sort of crazy weather. So I wonder a little bit, maybe if this is kind of a needs one spot, coming back going 7 panels is never an easy task to do. So I opted to go for a couple different directions to try and beat the number 9, but is going to be a favorite and certainly could come back and just beat this field off the 2-back performance. I think crushes here.
Agree.
We'll stick with you though. We'll go to the 6 as we both picked a couple of prices on top here to beat this favorite, but I'll go to you first. 20-1 on Doroteo.
Yeah, I just feel like if the 9 loses this race, it's probably because the pace gets really, really hot. As the 10 horse Little Thunder is going to be his main competition. That horse is very fast as well. And there's other speed drawn towards the inside. Maybe this pace really heats up and can set up for a horse like Dora Toro, who, early last winter was a pretty nice prospect for that barn as well. He so much so that they threw him into a stakes race on debut. And he actually held his own in there. He finished second. Stretched him out a couple of times, and he made these moves in those paces and then hit a wall late. He doesn't want to go 2 turns, I think. Then they finally cut him back to a sprint, got the job done that day. I'm willing to forgive the effort at Parks. It's Parks. Weird things happened there. It came in the mud. It was a complete no-show that day. I don't know what happened last time. They tried to grass, and he was terrible. I'm banking on the fact that he was really good early as a 3-year-old. Maybe there's still run left in this horse, and this is what he wants to do. He wants to run the 1 turn, make that one move late, and hopefully pick up some pieces at 20-1, or what's probably gonna be much higher than that. I'm willing to give him one more chance.
Yeah, absolutely deserves one more chance. I'm not going to talk you off of this horse. I actually had him on debut when he was trained by Jose Camejo. So, that one stung a little bit, I guess. But this is a horse that they definitely thought highly of early on. And I think maybe just going 1 turn, is kind of the way to go. And maybe on a fast track, which all signs point to fast and firm for Saturday at Tampa. So I don't hate that pick at all. I ended up going with the number 3 in P4. I thought this one last time just was chasing a blazing hot pace and really just kind of in chase mode and looked almost uncomfortable the entire time, but only lost by a length at 27-1. It looks like coming back, you're going to get somewhere in the same price of, 10 to 12-1. It's no 27-1, but I think it's still a very fair price for me to want to take a shot here. I like the effort last year in the 7 furlong sophomore stakes over this main track. Chased a soft pace that day behind Macho Music, who just blew the doors off that field and has done well going 1 turn. I think last time out showed some improvement second off the bench for Michael Yates, and I think could definitely take a step forward in a race where I'm with you, Jackson. We'll talk about the 10 here in a second as regards to the pace scenario, but a lot of these horses seem like 2-turn horses cutting back to the 7 furlongs where, if the pace does heat up, I think that would then at that point, it would favor some of those 2-turn horses cutting back. But as it stands, I don't think the pace scenario is going to be anything crazy. I think P4 can be up forward, if not up on the lead from that inside draw. So I'll take the 3 to pose an upset.
Just we'll go to stick on that most recent race really quick, because I do like the other horse coming out of that race. That allowance is kind of weird because you are right. It was a very fast pace, as you can see by the red fractions, but no one really closed outside of Swaggish. I mean, those horses were 1, 2, 3 the whole way around, including Mish, who's a pretty nice allowance horse. It was up there too. So I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. I'm going to end up throwing Swaggish in on a ticket as well as the other off the pace type. But that most recent race, I really couldn't make heads or tails of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a little bit interesting. You see Mish was the next out winner, got an 88 Beyer speed figure at Gulfstream Park about a week or so ago. But yeah, no, I like that allowance race P4 comes out of, so I'll take that one back. Swaggish, as you mentioned, kind of that, another very logical, in my opinion, to finish in the trifecta. If you are a reverse tri-key player, that's probably the play for you. The number 10, Little Thunder, 5-2 on the morning line. I love where this horse drew in relation to the number 9 Disruptor. I think Little Thunder's kind of going to control everything out of the gate. Disruptor, I would imagine, is going to be forward early and going to be trying to go fast. Little Thunder won on debut going this 7 furlong distance. I think could get a lot of stamina out of that effort and can certainly improve. Timothy Ham is very sharp. Cipriano Gill teams up and they hit it about 26% with an over $2 ROI. I think this is a very logical second choice. And I think Little Thunder is going to push the pace of Disruptor if Disruptor wants to be aggressive out of there. And if the 9 doesn't go, I think Little Thunder, again, is going to have everything his own way. And I think that's going to make things very tough for everybody else in the field. So I will go 310 in here. I will try and see if the number 3 P4 can get us a big price, big upset in this pick 4.
Yeah.
Any other horses you want to talk about before we keep moving?
No, I'm curious to see how they ride this horse, because I think if you're on the 10 Little Thunder, your job is to make the 9 as uncomfortable as possible, right? I mean, that's your main competition. You know that. Everyone in the world knows that. And you're drawn right outside of them. So you're just going to try to put as much pressure as you can on that horse the whole time and probably try to turn this thing into a match race. Unless you can clear the field, then obviously you just go on with it.
Right. I think, don't, invite Disruptor into the race, but make things uneasy on him if he wants to be aggressive early. I'm with you. I would love to see that. And I'll be using the number 3 P4 because I do think his running style kind of suits. If they do fly early, he should kind of be sitting in that catbird seat, so to speak. So we'll wrap up race number 8 there. One more time at the picks. I'm going 310. Jackson's going 6-9. Move on now to the finale. In here, we'll check in quickly in the comments, and Noah's just throwing the skulls.
Who's that?
I imagine. I don't know. Lil Bro, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Last race number 9. No surprise that this is a we spend too much time together pick, if I've ever seen one. This is the Grade 3 Endeavor Stakes. We're going a mile and a 16th for the fillies and mares over the turf course once again. I am going 5-6. Jackson is going 5-11. So we'll start the conversation with number 5, Aussie Girl. Last time out, kind of clipped or was impeded, pulled up in the race, did not finish rather. Comes right back in a graded stake. So you got to imagine that, she was totally good exiting that race. What do you like about her as you and I both land on her as our top pick to end this sequence?
Yeah, I'm willing to forgive the recent effort. She was just completely knocked off stride in the first turn of that race by a rival, and Tyler did the right thing. She was going to the outer rail and just pulled her up. I mean, it wasn't going to be, there was no way she was ever going to perform well after that happened. So I'm willing to forgive that race, obviously, because her form before that was really good. I mean, that race at Aqueduct, I know the fractions may not look that quick, but the pace figures that was a pretty honest pace, and she was always right on top of it. And she still had enough left in the tank to kick on and hang on from Tax Implications, who had all the momentum. Tax Implications was never going by this filly. If you watch the replay, she was kind of getting to her late, and then the final 50 yards or so, Aussie Girl pulled away late again. And at Tax Implications, it's a nice horse, and I think she's probably every bit as good as anyone else that Aussie Girl will be facing on Saturday. So I think she's the horse to beat. The other thing is she has a really big tactical advantage over all her main rivals. If you look at the other horses that are going to take a lot of money in here, the 1 is going to be coming from way out of it. The 4 is going to take a lot of money for Chad Brown. She's going to be coming from way out of it. The 11, I think, is going to be the other choice in here. She's stuck on the outside, and she probably be coming from mid-pack at best. I just think she's really supposed to get the jump on all her main competition in here. And it's not like there's a ton of speed outside of maybe the 9 and the 10. But Aussie Girl can prove last time she can just sit second or third and be perfectly fine with that too. So I think she's the fastest horse in the race. I think she's got a tactical advantage, and I just think she's supposed to be really difficult to beat.
I'm with you. For me, it was the tactical advantage that you mentioned that really kind of pushed me over the edge on this mare. Rather is that she showed 2 back. She's totally fine sitting off the pace a little bit. And I do think if Love You Anyway and Starship Impulsive, the 9 and the 10, who are the other 2 kind of speed types, if they try and use that speed early to cross and clear over from, they're coming out of the chute in this race, I believe. I believe they are going the mile and a 16th. And when we had Jason Beam on, he spoke to us about how, sometimes when they hit that dog leg getting out of the chute, sometimes those horses to the inside are already, you get a length or 2 advantage just because of the, the shorter distance that you have to travel there. I wonder then, Aussie Girl might just find herself on the lead anyway. She might find herself in that pocket trip, but I know she's going to be sitting the best of those 3. Al-Jafara. We were at Keeneland this weekend. And so we certainly remember her winning that day. 2.5 to 1, 5 to 2 felt like an absolute gift. I remember that. But again, not really going to get that speed. That was a beautiful ride by Flavien Prat that day. But again, I'm with you. She's behind the 8 ball in terms of being able to close efficiently into a pace that really doesn't look all that hot.
Well, and the problem with that race too is, one, it hasn't come back that strongly. All the run backs in there haven't been very, very good. The other problem is, if you recall, there was some big mishap on the backstretch heading in the far turn where I think like 3 horses got just completely taken out of the race at a pretty pivotal point. So I think that win's a little dressed up, especially for these connections. She's going to just be way overbet in this spot.
Yeah, talking about the 4, Al-Jafara, always going to be overbet in those silks of Madaket, Michael Dubb, trained by Chad Brown in a turf route. Candy Quest, we'll talk about this one. Another contender coming out of the QE2 Cup at Keeneland this fall, ran a non-threatening 5th behind Lush Lips, who came back out to win her next start. Laura Lynn, Opulent Restraint. This is another one that could take a step forward now as a 4-year-old. I don't know. She's just going to be coming from too far out of it, as you mentioned, and I don't think this pace is going to be fast enough.
Agree. I think there's an argument to me that she is the fastest horse in the race as well. I just don't see how she gets the setup she needs in this spot because she comes from so far out of it. Even the QE2 last time, where it was kind of a weird race where no one really closed, and I think you'd be a little forgiving of it, as you saw when Fionn came right back to win, and Fionn finished just in front of her that day. Again, for me, it's just looking at her at 3 to 1, looking at Aussie Girl at 7 to 2. I would prefer the 5.
I would too. The 5 Aussie Girl definitely going to be a strong single to end the day. How about you? When you play in a tournament, are you going to save some bullets for this last race and fire away here? Or are you going to hope to be show-laxing, as our buddy Matt Miller calls it?
Depends where we're at heading in this last race. I'm playing that horse in the 7th race for sure. That's Quattrocento, and again, it's just going to depend on how I build that ticket around that horse.
No doubt. We'll wrap up our. Oh well, no. I guess we have other horses to think about here. My bad. I'll go to the 6 real quick, and then I'll throw it out to you to talk about the 11. The 6, ridden by David Egan. Hopefully, he is okay to ride. He took a spill because Irad, bumped into him today in the first race. They kind of bumped into each other, I guess. But if you watch the replay, yikes that there wasn't a disqualification of some sort. But anyway, hope David Egan is okay and he's good to ride here. This is a horse that I think has a really nice closing turn of foot. I think doesn't like that distance that she got last time out going the mile and 3/8. I anticipate the cutback to fit her well. As you look back to the Monmouth efforts over summer, going the mile and a 16th and the mile, it seemed to really be in her wheelhouse. My one concern is obviously when you're going that long and then you have to cut back this substantially, sometimes you lose a little bit of that early speed. And we've already talked about the pace scenario in here, but she does have that effort the Flower Bowl again was going, 11 furlongs. So that's going a little bit farther, but the speed figure was strong. So if she can get back to some of those efforts, I do think she can factor underneath in this race, but all of my win money is going to be on the 5. I'll go to you, Jackson. Wrap us up. Number 11, Public Defender for Safi Joseph, second time in the barn.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of just needed someone in second, and she's every bit as good as everyone else in this race. That race 2 back at Keeneland was actually pretty good. She lost to Proctor Street, and we know how good Proctor Street has been since then. And that was a race that really fell apart, and she was 3 wide. She was kind of pressing the whole way. She definitely did not get the run of that race. I do think that race you can probably upgrade a little bit. And then last time, I know she was 3rd and kind of well beaten, but Crevaldo Oro and moving on up came right back and finished 2nd and 3rd last week in the Philly Mare Turf over at Gulfstream. So, she's been keeping really good company. I just wish she drew better. The 11 post is very, very difficult, especially with the speed drawn just inside of her. I guess the plan would probably be just let those 2 go and try to follow them and try to save some ground. But Morales is going to have his work cut out for him for sure.
Certainly is. We'll wrap up with that as race number 9. I'm going 5-6. Jackson's going 5-11. Real quick comment in here from Steven. Steven, thanks for watching. I never played Tampa. Any general recommendations about the track, turf favoring front runners, etc.? Thanks. I mentioned that we had Jason Beam on a little bit ago, a few weeks ago on one of our shows, and we talked a little bit about how that turf plays in terms of coming out of the chute for some of those mile and a 16th races, mile races. And he definitely seemed to be on the side that inside is going to be the preferable place to be coming out of that dog leg, coming out of the chute as you make that left-hand turn, because, you cut that corner, you're going to save a little bit more ground. But Jackson, from your memory, at least recently, because we've seen how the turf course will change based on weather, and then we'll talk a little bit about the dirt course. I've noticed that the turf in the past week has played maybe a little bit more speed. How about you?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think overall it's pretty fair. If they go too fast, they'll pay the price. If they let someone crawl, you'll pay the price. In general, I think it's a little bit more speed friendly than, your turf courses out in Kentucky or New York, but I don't think it's a massive advantage. It's not like Gulfstream where you got to be 4 to have a chance in most of those races.
Right. Completely agree with that. And then as far as the dirt course goes, dirt course typically plays fair, but it's kind of one of those tracks where you definitely want to make a move on the far turn, because once you kind of turn for home, the runner that has the lead typically has a pretty good advantage there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. It plays like any other dirt track in America. You want to have speed.
Stretch isn't crazy long either, so there's not a whole lot of time to make up that kind of ground. But thank you, Steven, for the comment. Jackson, we got pick 4 tickets for the people. I'll put those up on the screen. I'm going 1, 3, 10 with 6, with 3, 7, 5, 3, 7, 10 with 5. That is a $4.50 ticket if you're playing on the 50-cent base. Jackson, even cheaper than me. He's going 1, 6 with 3, with 6, 7 with the 5. And there we go. Second one of the day. Jackson, go ahead and take us through your ticket as I throw these up, not on a banner, but just up here. So take us through the pick 4 in your ticket.
Yeah, it just feels like this sequence could be pretty formful. I like the first surge in the first leg. That's the Chad Brown current yield on the rail. We talked about that Chad Brown stat. He is 11 for 19 on the dirt for first-time starters at Tampa Bay Downs. So it's a move he's very, very good at. The ROI is really high. Want to use that horse, and also want to use the 6 that is Sorokin, has been working well against older seasoned rivals for Savvy Joseph. So going to double up with those two. Quattrocento in the second leg, he's my pick of the day. I'm not going to have a winning day unless he wins, and I just think his form recently a little dirtied up. Now he finds himself in a race with no other speed. He's going to control this thing. They have to come catch him. I'm hoping he's a second choice in there because I like him a lot in that spot. The 8th race is the one where you got to make a decision on Disruptor. You either single him at 3 to 5 or you try to take him on. I'm going to try to take him on a little bit. I'm not hugely against him, but I just don't want to be 3 deep with the big favorite in there. So I'm going to try Dorotea from way off the pace as well as Swaggish. I'm just hoping they fly up front, and then going to try to get home with Aussie Girl, who we both like quite a bit in the nightcap.
Yeah, I like that ticket. $2 if you play it on 50 cents. I assume you're going to press it up quite a bit. My ticket, a little bit different. I'm going 1, 3, 10 in the first leg. That is going to be the Chad Brown firster. And then 2 horses that have made a start before, both getting, one of them rather, getting first-time Lasix today, that being the number 3. The 10, Princess Fakoma, was my top pick in there. Hopefully she improves start 1 to start 2. I'll press this up, singling the 1, because I don't think she's impossible by any means. And in a skinny enough sequence, I'll try and press her up. And the favorite I think you and I are both trying to beat is Disruptor. So if Disruptor wins, that's going to disrupt our day, and that'll probably be bad for everybody. But that next leg, you and I are splitting up. I'm going number 6, Win for the Money for Mark Cassie. I do respect Quattrocento, and if the price disparity is huge, I could change an opinion on that one. If we're talking, massive, you get 5 to 2 versus even money, I might have to take the 5 to 2 as a win wager on Quattrocento, because if she gets back to some of those previous, or he gets back rather to some of those previous races when he's in front, he's very, very dangerous. Next race, I'm going to try and beat Disruptor. I'm going to go 3, 7, 10. The 7 is Swaggish. You are also using that horse on your ticket. And I have one more question for you before we wrap up. But yes, we're both going Aussie Girl in our last. For anybody that was watching as we went through the second to last race, Jackson's picks were 6, 9 on the screen. But in here, he's going 6, 7. So tell the people why you're not using Disruptor on your pick 4 tickets and you're going with the 7 Swaggish instead.
Yeah, it's just how I play these horizontal tickets. I think you either have to be completely with Disruptor or completely against, because he might be 3 to 5 on the tote board in the win pool, but he's going to be way lower than that if you're playing something like the pick 4. He's going to be on every single ticket. So you're either going to only use him or you're going to use a bunch of others, because in the pick 4, he's going to play like a 1 to 5 shot, maybe even 1 to 9, because he's just so obvious. Everyone's going to use him, and you don't want to be doubling up with him and other horses. So the 7 would be my third pick in there. But But again, if this is something where I am playing the pick four quite heavily and I'm alive after the first two legs and I can kind of see what it's paying, then I can come back and play a double 9 into 5 for a bunch of times and kind of hedge it that way. But kind of just trying to maximize your opinions in here and maximize value.
I like it. Comment in the chat, if you're trying to beat Disruptor, would going all in that leg be any sort of smart just because you have two singles? What are your thoughts there? I would say yes if I was playing the pick 5. I think the pick 4, just I might want to get a little bit skinnier because even with beating that favorite, I think the payouts might still be a little bit on the low side if it's a chalky result the rest of the way. Yeah,
I'd even take it a step further and go all but the two favorites in there because I feel like they have the same style. If one of them lose, it feels like they're both going to lose. So if I'm perfectly fine getting beat by both of them. So I would press this one up, but I don't mind that at all. Coming back and playing it again for 50 cents or $1 and using all the big prices in that race.
Good comment, Mike. The other favorite in there is the 10. Forget the name, but
Little Thunder.
Little Thunder.
Just like Little Thunder. My brother's basketball team. They get destroyed by the Spurs every time they play. Little Thunder.
There we go.
Little bro.
It's because of Wemby. So
we'll
go ahead and credit him. All right, y'all. Quick little show today, but those are our pick 4 tickets. Be sure to play Tampa Bay Downs this Saturday. And then, it's going to be a fun weekend. I know we have a lot of cancellations because of weather. Southern California is not one of them. Check out Pacific Horse Players on HHH. In the Money has done plenty for Santa Anita, including the Sunset 6, which I think is a very fun sequence. We had a good time the other day on Pacific Horse Players on HHH. We were joined by Shane O'Neill. That was more of a roast than a handicapping show, but I think we got some handicapping opinions out there as well. But good to be back on our weekly routine here on the Gallop Out on In the Money Media. So, Jackson, we'll see you next week. Good luck in the tournaments, and thank you guys for watching.